All right, so let's get right into it. We're going to talk about the next 15 years, your future, my future, based on what the absolute experts in AI are saying. And look, it's going to be a wild ride, full of some really big challenges for sure, but also some opportunities that are just mind-blowing.
And we're not easing into this. We're starting with the quote that should honestly stop you in your tracks. This isn't from some random person. This is Mo Gaudat. He used to be the chief business officer at Google X. That's Google's moonshot factory, their super secret innovation lab. So when a guy like that says, in 15 years, this will be hell because of AI, yeah, you gotta listen. The question is, what on earth does he mean by that?
So here's how we're going to break all this down. First, we'll dig into that hell prediction. Then, we'll talk about what your skills are actually worth now. After that, we'll get into real strategies for how to adapt. We'll even cover a cool framework called the AI sandwich. And finally, we'll look at the light at the end of the tunnel, the possible utopia.
All right, first up, that prediction. Now, the word hell, it sounds scary, right? It's meant to. But the reason for it, well, it's probably not what you're thinking. This isn't a Terminator movie.
And what's crazy is how specific Gaudet gets. He lays out a whole timeline. He says by 2026, that's like right around the corner, the changes will be obvious to everyone. And by 2027, the real disruption, what he calls the dystopia, kicks in and lasts for about 15 years. This isn't some far-off sci-fi thing. He's talking about our immediate future.
So here's the real kicker. The problem isn't some evil AI plotting against us. The problem is us. It's our own speed. Think about it. AI technology is moving at the speed of a rocket ship, right? But our institutions, our governments, our schools, our laws, they're moving at the speed of a snail. That huge gap between the tech and our ability to adapt to it, that's the real source of the chaos.
Okay, so if the big problem is our slow reaction time, what does that mean for you, for your job? Well, it means the very definition of professional value is being turned upside down. The rulebook we all grew up with, it's basically being shredded.
You know, for the longest time, when we heard automation, we pictured one thing, robots on a factory line, right? It was all about replacing manual, repetitive jobs, simple, routine stuff that was easy to program.
Well, that whole idea is completely outdated now. The game has changed. The new line in the sand isn't routine versus creative, it's measurable versus non-measurable. And this is huge. It means if you can define the goal of a job with a number, a sales target, a line of code, a marketing metric, no matter how smart you think that job is, an AI is coming for it. And it'll probably do it better, faster, and cheaper.
And this is not some future prediction. This is happening right now. Gaudet gives an example from his own AI company. Get this. A task that used to take 350 people is now done by 3. 3! That's not just a little bit more efficient. That's a total demolition of the old way of doing things. And we're not just talking about factory jobs anymore. We're talking about white-collar, professional jobs, coders, writers, analysts, everyone. So, you might be thinking, what's left for us humans? Well, it forces us to double down on the things that are really, really hard to measure. Things like socio-emotional intelligence, actually connecting with another person and building trust, or complex judgment, the ability to look at a situation and apply ethics and context, not just cold data, and real groundbreaking creativity. I'm not talking about just mashing old ideas together. I mean coming up with something truly new.
All right, that's enough doom and gloom. Let's talk about solutions. How do we actually get through this? This is all about finding your footing, about building your own professional compass to navigate what's coming.
So here are 4 key strategies that keep coming up. 1, you have to become a relentless learner. Lifelong learning isn't just some corporate buzzword anymore. It's literally a survival skill. 2, get really, really good at the human stuff. Communication, empathy, collaboration. 3, be ready to pivot. Your career isn't a ladder anymore. It's more like a jungle gym. You've got to be agile. And 4, find a niche and go deep. Become the person who knows more about one specific thing than anyone else.
And it's not just on you. The smart companies are getting this too. As Anne Grady, an expert on this stuff, says, the organizations that win are the ones that invest in their people, not just their tech. Because at the end of the day, it's the creative, adaptable humans that are going to be the real secret weapon.
Okay, so how do you actually work with AI day to day? There's a really simple but brilliant idea for this that's catching on. People are calling it the AI sandwich.
It's exactly what it sounds like. You have 2 pieces of bread. That's you, the human. And in the middle, you've got the filling. That's the AI. The human starts it, and the human finishes it.
The AI is the powerful tool in the middle, but you are always in charge.
It breaks down into 3 simple steps. First, human. You start with your idea, your question, your rough draft. You set the direction. Second, AI. You hand your initial work over to the AI and say, okay, expand on this. Find the flaws. Give me 10 different versions. You use it as a super-powered assistant. But then, and this is the most critical part, step 3, human again. You take what the AI gave you and you use your judgment. You check it, you refine it, you add your unique perspective, you make the final call.
Let's put this into practice. Imagine you have a big project. You can break it down. The easy stuff, like collecting a mountain of data, give that 100% to the AI. Let it do the grunt work. The medium stuff, like looking for interesting patterns in that data, that's a collaboration. You and the AI work together. But the hard stuff, the final decision, the ethical choice, the thing you have to stand behind, that is all you. That's 100% human.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. If we can get through this 15-year period of chaos, what's on the other side? Because according to Goddard, it's not all doom and gloom. It could actually be something pretty amazing.
The vision he paints is one of abundance. Imagine a world where super smart AIs run all the complex systems, supply chains, energy, logistics, and solve the big problems we've struggled with for centuries, like poverty and hunger. If that happens, it could free us, all of us, from just working to survive. It would let us focus on the things that actually matter, finding our purpose, building relationships, creating beautiful things.
And if you think that sounds like a sci-fi fantasy, just look at this stat. Right now, today, it would take less than 15% of the money the world spends on the military every year to completely end extreme poverty and hunger. So it's not that we don't have the resources, we do. It's that our priorities are messed up. And that's exactly the kind of complex optimization problem a super intelligent AI could potentially help us fix.
So that leaves us with one last massive question to think about. These AIs, they're learning from us, from everything we do, everything we write, everything we create. They're basically our digital children. And just like any child, they're picking up our good habits and our bad ones. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, what values are we teaching them? Because we're not just building tools. We're creating our legacy. And we need to decide right now what kind of ancestors we're going to be.